Today, we are cracking open a playbook. And this isn't just any playbook. It's filled with the tactics, the routines, and the habits of some of the most successful people on the entire planet. We're going to decode the secrets of the Titans. I mean, just think about that for a second. What if you could get a direct line into the minds of these absolute titans? What kind of patterns would you start to see? What are the common threads that could, fundamentally change how you approach your own life? Well, that's the powerful question we're digging into.
And luckily for us, we've got a guide on this journey. Tim Ferriss, host of one of the world's most popular podcasts, literally interviewed over 200 of these world-class performers. And then he distilled all of their wisdom into one place. He did all the heavy lifting so we can get right to the good stuff.
And you know what he discovered? Success isn't some random, chaotic lottery. No, it's actually built on a foundation of 3 distinct, really powerful pillars: being healthy, wealthy, and wise. So let's break down each one. First up, health. And this makes perfect sense, right? You can't build an empire if your own foundation is crumbling. And we're not just talking about the absence of sickness here. We're talking about forging a state of peak physical and mental performance.
What's so interesting is that these titans, they don't really rely on super complicated, expensive fitness plans. Instead, they leverage simple, often kind of unconventional habits that deliver absolutely massive results. The kind of stuff you could literally start doing today.
Okay, so take cold exposure. You've got guys like the Iceman, Wim Hof, and the legendary surfer Laird Hamilton using it to boost their immune systems and even fight off depression. And look, you don't need to go climb a frozen mountain to get the benefits. You can get them by simply ending your daily shower with a 30 to 60 second blast of cold water. Simple, but powerful.
But physical resilience? That's only half the battle. This quote from Tony Robbins really pivots us to the mental side of things. It is such a powerful reframe. Challenges aren't just obstacles, they're actually opportunities in disguise. Your mindset is basically the operating system for your health.
So Robbins argues that most of our mental suffering, it really just boils down to these 3 thought patterns. First, there's loss, focusing on what you've lost. Then there's less, comparing yourself to others and believing you have less. And finally, never, convincing yourself you'll never achieve something. Just recognizing these patterns is the first step to breaking free.
And if you need proof of how crucial this mental training is, get this. More than 80% of the high performers Ferriss interviewed have some kind of daily mindfulness or meditation practice. For them, this isn't some fringe activity. It's a totally non-negotiable tool. Why? Well, because it's their secret weapon for making clear decisions under pressure, for quieting that mental chatter that just kills creativity, and for focusing on what truly, truly matters. So, that solid foundation of mental and physical health, that leads us straight to our second pillar, wealth. But hold on, this isn't just about money. It's about building a life of freedom, of impact, and resilience. It's about architecting a system for your success.
Okay, this is a huge mindset shift, one that was popularized by Dilbert creator Scott Adams. The idea is to stop chasing these finite goals and instead build systems. So for example, a goal is lose 10 pounds. A system is eat healthy every day. See the difference? One has a finish line, but the other is a lifestyle. And it's the systems that produce those incredible results over the long haul. Another common thread you see over and over is that real drive and perspective. Well, they aren't born in comfort. They're forged in the fire of difficult, often unglamorous, real-world experiences.
I mean, just listen to this story about legendary investor Chris Sacca. His parents made him spend one part of his summer interning with a high-powered lobbyist in D.C., and the other part servicing septic tanks. Now that contrast gave him this incredibly powerful perspective on what real work is and what he was truly working for. It grounded his ambition in reality, which for an investor is just priceless. And once you have that drive, you've got to direct it somewhere. As Arnold says, having a clear vision is like plugging a destination into your GPS. It just makes every single decision along the way so much simpler. He didn't just stumble into becoming a bodybuilding champion, a movie star, and a governor. He had a vision for each step.
And that brings us to our final pillar, wisdom. This is all about the internal software you use to navigate life. Making better decisions, learning effectively, and actually growing through your challenges. Here is a beautifully simple but incredibly profound framework from the investor Naval Ravikant. In any situation that's making you miserable, you really only have these 3 options. The real suffering, he says, comes from the indecision, from all that mental energy you burn by not choosing one. So don't just wish it would change. Either actively change it, fully accept it, or get out.
So what about when those choices are,
Scary. Researcher Brené Brown offers this powerful insight. Courage isn't about being fearless. Not at all. It's about acting despite the fear. That feeling of discomfort isn't a stop sign. It's actually a compass pointing you exactly where you need to go for real growth.
And finally, a key to wisdom from author Malcolm Gladwell. True intelligence, he suggests, isn't about having all the answers. It's about having the humility and the courage to ask the questions that lead to understanding, even if you're worried they'll make you look a little foolish.
Okay, so we've walked through the Titan's pillars of health, wealth, and wisdom. Now, let's bring it all home and talk about how you can actually apply these lessons. Let's boil it all down to a simple toolkit. This isn't about radically changing your entire life overnight. It's about picking up one or two of these powerful tools and actually putting them to work. Maybe for you, it's adopting a system instead of a goal to finally make progress on a project. Or maybe it's using that three-choice framework to resolve a situation that's been draining your energy.
Look, this isn't just a collection of interesting ideas. It's a set of tools, and they're just sitting there, waiting to be used. You don't have to master all of them at once. So, the question I want to leave you with is a simple one. Looking at this toolkit right here, which single tool will you commit to picking up and using first?